Okay, so it's been about 5 days now using the new Pixel 6 Pro as my main device, and there's some things that I really like, and unfortunately a few things that would probably make me hesitate a little bit before buying this, or recommending that you buy this. Build quality on this phone is definitely top notch, although it is a little bit slippery for my taste, so you'll definitely want to put a case on this one. I'll definitely be doing some more case videos for the 6 Pro, so you'll definitely want to look out for those. Now, if you've used the Pixel 5a or some of the cheaper Pixel phones in the past, those you might be able to get away without using a case. But for me at least, yeah, not with this one. It's nice that this phone has wireless charging, but considering it takes about 2 hours to charge with a wire, I can't imagine how long people are willing to wait on wireless charging. Although to be fair, it is a little bit faster than other wireless charging from some of the competition. The battery life on here is really good. This one lasted about 11.5 hours during my battery drain test, which sounds great considering it's at the top of other devices that I've tested. Well, until you compare it to the smaller iPhone 13 that I tested earlier, which actually lasted about 2 hours longer with a smaller battery than this new Pixel 6 Pro. Another thing that hopefully gets fixed with the software update is that the fingerprint sensor definitely seems a little slow to respond and not quite as accurate as on other phones I've tested. I'm pretty sure it can be fixed through software, but I don't know, maybe I'm just used to my Galaxy phone working right away almost every time, where using this one is definitely a little more of a struggle. One thing I really like on this phone is the new styling of Android 12. Everything seems larger, even larger fonts, easier to use, easier on the eyes. I just wish they would make the icons on the home screen a little bit larger. I don't know, maybe I'm just used to my Galaxy phone, but they just seem a little bit on the small side. Now another thing, when there's grouped icons on the home screen, unless you have dark theme turned on, it just looks a little weird in my opinion, like a white blob. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Adding features like the magic eraser and the scrolling screenshot are really nice on here. Plus the nice thing is my Galaxy Watch 4 works really good with this phone with an additional plugin that was pretty easy to install. Another thing I did notice when scrolling through a news feed or in certain apps, it just seemed like the smoothness of the scrolling was a little glitchy. Maybe it's just certain apps. It just didn't seem as smooth as on other phones I've used, but definitely something that I'll be keeping an eye on. The screen also doesn't seem as bright as on other phones I've tested. I mean, since I rarely go outside anymore, I doubt that's going to be a problem, but just something that may bother some people. I was a little hesitant about this curved screen on here, mainly because it makes phones a little bit harder to handle and more slippery. But since this one is a little more subtle than those other phones I've tested, it's actually pretty nice. But having said that, I have a feeling I'd like a little bit flatter screen, like on the cheaper regular Pixel 6. Good thing is, the only apps I've had crash are the YouTube Studio app, so I guess that's a good sign for a phone that was just released. I had to reinstall it, and hopefully that fixes the problem. I'm not real concerned about it, considering this phone just came out. Again, I'm just trying to point out everything that I've experienced so far. Another thing that was a little surprising, Geekbench scores on here are a little bit higher than the Galaxy S21 Ultra on single core scores, but then lower on the Note 20 Ultra, OnePlus 8 Pro, and all of the Galaxy S21 models. I mean, it was pretty close, but still a little surprising to see. Gaming on here is pretty good as expected. Graphics look nice and sharp. Games load fairly quickly. I think most people will enjoy playing games on here. I feel like the speakers on here are pretty average. Now, taking photos on this device are going to be pretty amazing as expected from a Pixel phone. Nice thing is you get up to 4K for video, 30 frames per second or 60 frames. You're also going to get 4K resolution on the front facing camera. So in the camera app, they have something called Action Pan, where it focuses on a moving object and then creates a blur in the background. It's also got long exposure, where you're going to add a creative blur to moving objects in a scene. Here's a few samples of photos and video just to give you an idea of what to expect. When it comes to video, for some reason, the color accuracy on at least the version I have definitely seems worse than my Galaxy S21 Plus and the iPhone 13. I don't know if they just have it calibrated to be more saturated, but the color on here definitely leans a little bit too much towards yellow. And the iPhone 13, Galaxy S21 Plus, the colors on those just look more natural. The telephoto lens, though, when taking photos is actually better than I expected. So that was nice to see. With this phone, you get a speaker up by the earpiece and then one at the bottom. Sort of looks like there's two speakers down there, but no, it's just one. I'll give you a sample just so you get an idea of what they sound like. I can't say these are the loudest speakers I've ever heard, but they definitely get the job done. While I definitely think I'll continue to use this new Pro version as my daily driver, I really think that if I wasn't a YouTuber and I wanted to save some money, I would probably have to go with the cheaper regular Pixel 6. You don't get the telephoto lens, and yeah, it's 90 Hz instead of 120, but to me, the design is so similar and you get pretty much the same cameras other than the telephoto lens and almost the same screen size. They both have OLED screens as well. Same processor, so you're probably going to get similar performance and a lot of the same features for a lot less money. So unless those things are important to you, oh, and you want a slightly bigger battery, I don't know, after using the Pro version for about 5 days, I feel like the better value is going to be to buy the regular Pixel 6. Whichever you decide to go with, I definitely like the direction Google is going with these new Pixel phones.
So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.